Hey guys, this is your inspirational nurse _RN Tiara coming to you live with another great video. This is your girl Tiara and welcome back to this channel. First of all, I miss all my YouTube family. It's been a hot minute. Please forgive me. Of course, life just has its way of doing things, but God is always faithful, guys. So today's video is super special. It's how to overcome the politics of nursing / God did it again. So in this video, I will be talking about how to overcome nurse politics and what does that mean for those who are new coming into the nursing game and you're just interested, for those who don't have an experience or have experience with having problems with politics and big organizations or small organizations. Today's video is going to be super special, and then I'm going to give you guys an update on what happened to me recently and how God did it again. So stay tuned if you're super interested. For those who are new to my channel, hello, welcome. I am your inspirational RN. I was once an LPN before and volunteer medical assistant. I did it all. So stay tuned if you're interested. So let's just jump right into the video. First of all, let's talk about what exactly is nurse politics. So nurse politics is when you work for a company or organization and the leadership of that organization or organization policies dictate on how you grow as a professional in your field. So whether you are a CNA, whether you are a PCA, LPN, RN, you may run into a problem with politics. And so when you're in nursing school, guys, they daggone sure don't tell you the truth behind how you're supposed to be successful, growing your profession that you are purposely made to do, right? God purposely made us nurses or CNAs or whatever in the healthcare field to help people. But you may have a particular purpose, well, working with particular generation or population. Maybe you have a gift for pediatrics or OBGYN or labor delivery or med surg, but you know that there's a particular population of people that you're supposed to, or audience that God wants you to get to that purpose. So when you join an organization, here's a tip. Always, when you're interviewing for a big hospital, or whether it's a small hospital or a long-term care facility or whatever company, make sure that your mission for yourself you place out there in the beginning. So every job that I come to, I make sure that it's known what my purpose is and where I'm trying to go, because that will give them an overall view of what my career may be like in this organization. So it's very important to do this, because that way they'd be like, okay, I know she's working towards being a preceptor or a teacher. I always wanted to teach, and I have an associate's degree a long time ago in education, and I love to teach the new grads or nurses that's coming in, and I like to give those techniques and skills. I have done so much in 6 years, and so I've learned when I start working for different organizations, the politics that come into play is that sometimes some places want you all to be on one level, regardless if you have experience, regardless of not. Management or leadership would treat you as if y'all all of one. Now, if you are LP and my LP is going and they transition to RNs, there's tons of experience you've done as an RN, or if you are CNA and you're going up the ladder, there's a tons of things you did as a CNA, and everything that you do is valuable. That's tip number 2. You're always going to be valuable, but you have to see the value within yourself. So you have to market yourself, whether you're going into the travel world, whether you're working for a company. You have to know your worth and your value, because when you don't, then you can be taken advantage. And I remember seeing a lot of new grads coming into an organization I was working for and becoming charge nurses and within like months, and I mean, you know, and all these things. And I'm like, wait a minute, make sure you also get your skills up first when you're trying to transition to those titles, because then I feel like that's a way of them influencing new grads' careers, because they want you to stay in med surg area, or they want you to stay in a particular unit, so they bribe you with those types of positions. And if you do not know your worth and your value and your purpose, or you're not trying to grow anywhere, you might be okay with that. But for me, coming through the door, I already knew what I wanted to do. I already knew the qualities that I carry. Unfortunately, you will work for companies or places where you're not going to understand this until you're working in those places and you go, why every time I bring up that I want to teach, they keep telling me, oh, well, 2 more years of experience and we'll talk about it. No, let's talk about how we can get there. Where's my steps and my guidance to saying that I can get there? And that is possible. Let's paint this picture and make it possible, because first of all, everybody know that nursing is a tiring profession and we do not have time to waste. So tip number 3, stay positive. Never leave an organization or company with a bad relationship, or always market yourself. Write down your attributes to the company, your value, and where you're trying to go. So in the interview, you can say, hey, I really in 5 years would love to, train the LPNs, or I would love to be a preceptor, or I would love to be a charge nurse, or I would love to be a manager. So now you have to know, and also pray. That's my main tip. Pray on what you're supposed to be doing and your purpose in this field, because the enemy likes to, I'm telling you, when you don't know where you belong in this field, you can get very lost and feel very isolated and very depressed, because you feel like, oh my God, this organization, if I don't stay with the rules and the policies, then, everybody's going to hate me. And then I got to keep going to work knowing that people don't like me. I was working in a place that was very toxic, that they didn't understand my growth and where I was going. I think they still try to treat me like I was fresh and new out of school, like if I didn't know anything, which I do not like that feeling. And I was the one who spoke up. If there was something that was brought up, I'll be like, hey, so what's going on? Another tip is to advocate for yourself. So in the nursing game, this is a savage world, y'all. I wish in nursing school they taught us this. This is a savage world. It is not where people are going to be like, yeah, girl, I want to see you grow and be that manager. Well, I want to see you grow, be that There's people that will do everything to tear you down. They will try to snitch on you. They will try to, keep their eyes on you at all times. So you have to be perfect. And in the big organizations, you have a lot of favoritism. So if they don't like you, you're going to feel isolated. You're going to feel like, I can never reach my goals and where I'm trying to go. My best advice is to follow exactly what God told you to do. If you're supposed to be there for a short time, do your best work. Because one thing about that, they cannot stop your best work. When I was working, even though I wasn't being valued, no one seen my value, my work spoke for itself. And because of that, I have tons of awards. I was in a newsletter a couple of times. People were paying attention. There was providers paying attention in the upper, the higher ups. They were like, what? I went to the higher ups about you because they need to know. And I was shocked, mind you, but too much attention had the certain people looking at me different. Now, everybody has a certain motive after you. Some people know if you're good, they don't like that, they feel threatened. I never knew I was a threat, guys, until people start to tell me, well, it's your age. Matter of fact, my birthday's this month. I'm about to be 34, guys. They used to tell me it was my age. Then they used to say, well, you did so many things. It was just all these little things. And I'm like, well, I should be able to bring my value to the team and help the team, if anything. But there ain't no such thing as team in this field. Right now in COVID time, it is you're on your own. So you have to boss up. You have to get some thick skin. And when you feel like you're going in that deep, dark hole and you really don't know your purpose and you're just out of your mind, disoriented, you just don't feel like you want to be a nurse anymore. When you get to that point, you need to really give it to God and pray on it, because at the end of the day, He has the final say over everything. He already has a plan. You just have to follow your plan and move on and keep it moving. But those are my tips on how to overcome nurse politics. It should be a class in nursing school, but it is not, ladies and gentlemen. It needs to be. It is not. They need to teach you guys how to mentally prepare for that, because it's serious. I had one person literally delayed something that can cause me to graduate. I'm like, really? But God, let me tell y'all, first of all, let's talk about this life update. Number 1, I found a new mentor, passed my project, and I am graduating with my bachelor's, y'all. Yes, worked from volunteer, medical assistant, LPN, RN, and now BSN. And they already asked me about my FNP, which I'm like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. But God got me to this point for a reason, because I'm very strong. I have a strong personality, and I advocate for myself in a way where I can market myself. So just know, for my travelers out there, for my travel nursing, just know that it's not an escape, because travel nursing, you have to deal with even more challenges of being a traveler. But I'll do a whole other video on that, on my experience. So recently, guys, actually Friday, I just interview, guys, and first of all, interview for one position for unit manager and wind up with the ADON. Y'all know, assistant director.